The dated romantic shift. We think it's important to know who possesses this gift and who doesn't because we accord people who have it special rights and privileges. We allow them to assert a domineering level of authority that only perpetuates hierarchical structures, which they should be called upon to justify if it is to be retained. At an extreme level, the romantic myth of the artist suggests that people with such gifts cannot be subjected to the constraints imposed on other members of society. We must allow them to violate rules of decorum, propriety, and common sense that everyone else must follow or risk being punished for. The myth suggests that in return society receives work of unique character and invaluable quality. Such a belief does not appear in all, or even most, societies. It may be unique to Western European societies, and those influenced by them since the Renaissance. Michael Baxendale, 1972, pinpoints the shift in European thinking on this point as occurring during the 15th century, finding evidence in changes in the contracts made between painters and the purchasers of their work. At one point, contracts specified the character of the painting, the methods of payment, and, especially, the quality of the colors to be used, insisting on the use of gold and the more expensive varieties of blue, some being considerably cheaper than others. Thus, a contract in 1485 between Domenico Ghirlandaio and one client specified, among other things, that the painter should color the panel at his own expense with good colors and with powdered gold and such ornaments as demanded, and the blue must be ultramarine of the value about 4 florins the ounce, quoted in Baxendale, 1972, page 6. This resembles the contract one might make with a builder, specifying the quality of steel and concrete to be used. At the same time, or even earlier, some clients were specifying materials less and skill more. Thus, a contract in 1445, between Piero della Francesca and an ecclesiastical client, while it did not fail to specify gold and ultramarine, put a greater emphasis on the value of the painter's skill, insisting that no painter may put his hand to the brush other than Piero himself, quoted in Baxendale, 1972, page 20. Another contract was more detailed. The said master Luca is bound and promises to paint 1. all the figures to be done on the said vault, and 2. especially the faces and all the parts of the figures from the middle of each figure upwards, and 3. that no painting should be done on it without Luca himself being present. And it is agreed, for that all the mixing of colors should be done by the said master Luca himself, quoted in Baxendale, 1972, page 23. This is a very different kind of contract. Here the client wants to be sure that he is getting his money's worth of a property, something rarer than 4 florin ultramarine, namely, the unique skill of an artist. The 15th century client seems to have made his opulent gestures more and more by becoming a conspicuous buyer of skill. Baxendale, 1972, page 23. This shift moves only part of the way to today's fully developed belief that the artwork consists mainly of the expression of the skill and vision of a great artist or an as yet unrecognized special type of person. It recognizes the artist as someone special, but awards artists no special rights. That came later. These assumptions cum conventions are demonstrated in Brecht's titular term Messinkauf, which literally means the purchase of brass. Oh, I've got nothing against feelings. I agree that feelings are necessary if representations, imitations of events from people's social life are to be possible. Also that such imitations must stimulate feelings. The only thing that worries me is whether your feelings, more specifically your efforts to stimulate certain particular feelings, square with your imitations. You see, I'm afraid I must stick by my point that my main interest is in these events from real life. So let me strew once more that I feel I'm an intruder and outsider in this building with all its mysterious practical bits of apparatus, like someone who has not come in to enjoy a sense of comfort and would have hesitation in generating discomfort, as he has come with a quite particular interest whose particularity cannot be overstressed. The particularity of my interest so strikes me that I can only compare myself with a man, say, who deals in scrap metal and goes up to a brass band to buy, not a trumpet, let's say, but simply brass. The trumpeter's trumpet is made of brass, but he'll hardly want to sell it as such, by its value as brass, as so many ounces of brass. All the same, that's how I ransack your theatre for events between people, such as you do more or less imitate, even if your imitations are for a very different purpose than my satisfaction. To put it in a nutshell, I'm looking for a way of getting incidents between people imitated for certain purposes. I've heard that you supply such imitations, and now I hope to find out if they are the kind of imitations I can use. The Messinkauf dialogues, written between 1939 and 1942. Because artists have special gifts, because they produce work thought to be of great importance to a society, and because they therefore get special privileges, people want to make sure that only those who really have the gift, the talent, and the skill attain the privileged position. Special mechanisms sort out successful artists from unsuccessful artists. Societies, media within societies, vary in how they do this. At one extreme, a guild or academy, Hefner, 1940, may stipulate a long apprenticeship and prevent or undermine or deter those it does not license from practicing. In certain cultural contexts where the state restricts and limits arts autonomy, where institutions, the seemingly only available opportunity for artists to get their training and access to necessary skills, may similarly be restricted. At another extreme, exemplified by such countries as the United States, everyone can learn. Participants in the making of art rely on the market to weed out the talented from the pack. In such systems, society maintains the idea that artists have a special gift under the pretext that there is no way to tell who has it outside of letting everyone try and subsequently inspecting the results. Ultimately, it is left to the institution following the market to make the call. It cannot explain the call beyond being merely reactive to the market, but it does not anticipate the call being questioned on the basis that to do so would reveal the questioner to be Philistine or simply lacking in the requisite understanding and knowledge. Clearly this is a form of understanding and knowledge that, we would suggest, does not actually exist if it cannot be demonstrated.